Hello friends, greetings to all of you. I hope you all are doing well and revising well and preparing in a very fast manner for your exams. Welcome to my channel MJS Knowledge Hub. I am Janashree, your guide and mentor for your CA and CS examinations, and we are now doing this ISCA CA final paper number 6 old syllabus revision. We are in chapter number 5 and today we are going to see what? We are going to see about system development life cycle. SDLC. The system development life cycle is a important crucial concept of chapter number 5 and it will be taking around maybe 2 to 3 videos. I'll try to compress it as much as possible, but we'll be covering all the important facts of each stage of the SDLC. So what is the system development life cycle? System development means you are trying to build a system, and life cycle means the way in which it is being developed. So that is what the basic understanding we get from seeing this word, right? Seeing these words. So let us understand what is system development life cycle. See, every time a designer or a programmer tries to create a new system or try to develop a system, he'll be following a set of a set of steps, a sequence of steps, so that the system can be developed in a particular fashion. Therefore SDLC means the sequence of steps or phases in which each phase will use the result of the previous one, and the all phases together will be helping in development of the new system. You can say this is documentation specific, or you can say this system development lifecycle focuses on documentation, and each crucial stage needs a proper documentation to mark that stage is being completed. So the team manager needs a documentation, or you can say call it a deliverable, to mark that one crucial stage is completed so that he can next go to the other stage. So this life cycle gives a sequence of steps which can be followed and that crucial stages can be identified. Okay, and then it is more process oriented, like each step requires certain process, certain preconditions and certain characteristics to be followed. So system development life cycle in general, you can say it has a sequence of steps or phases for the development of the information system. Then what are the advantages of having the system development life cycle? The advantage is that we can have a better planning and control on the project. So the project manager can have a better grip on what's happening in the project. Then we can ensure that we are complying to the prescribed standards so that we can get good quality system. And each phase, it focuses on important milestone, and the project manager and the user and the developer also gets an idea that this phase has been completed and it can be reviewed and signed off for going into further process. Then documenting each important phase of the system development is crucial in the life cycle process. Therefore documentation is an important measure of communication and control. So these are the advantages of system development life cycle. Then once come, what are the other advantages? We being the future auditors, we also must have some understanding of how it is going to help in our information system audit. By having this system development life cycle document in your hand, the auditor can understand what are the steps being completed or what are the steps in progress for the information system development. Then in his report he can state what are the procedures followed, or did the team violate any standards, or are they following the prescribed standards for development of system. So this can be checked. Then even if the author has some technical knowledge, or let us say he has done some SEMA, or he has completed some IT related courses, but since he has an understanding regarding different areas of system development, he can guide the team members. Then he can also evaluate if the techniques are used in the system development are proper or not. So this, as per the IS audit, will be getting the benefit. Then any system will have some shortfall or weakness, right? But because of this life cycle thing, what are the weakness or disadvantages that team will face? First thing, the main point here is documentation, right? So the team may find the documentation to be a bit cumbersome, means you need to document each and everything for showing it to the management. It may be time taking. Then it may prolong the duration for the completion of the system, because not only preparing system is important, you need to document that, you need to explain it, you need to take the approval sign off, so it may prolong the duration of system development. And then the users who want the system may find that the system is not being developed in a in a fast manner, means they can't see the end product in a short span of time. And then this development process or development life cycle having this documentation will be useful for those systems which are very big and involves high budget, but for the small and medium sized products this may not be that required. Therefore suitability, it will be difficult for, it will not be that suitable for the small and medium sized projects. So this is all about SDLC. Then SDLC, system development life cycle. Okay, but what are the stages? It totally has around 8 stages. Okay, it has totally around, just a minute. Yeah, the system development life cycle totally has 8 stages. Okay, so what are those stages? Let us see that now. First thing is preliminary investigation. The first stage is preliminary investigation. Okay, preliminary investigation. Once you do the investigation, then you will do system requirement analysis. System requirement analysis. Once you analyze the requirement, then you will design the system. So system design. And once system is being designed, then after the designing process we will try to acquire the system. Means either you can purchase the required components or you can make it in-house. Okay, system acquisition. Then you will you'll gather things and then you will develop the system. System development. Once the system is developed, you will test it, right? System development. Then comes system testing. Then comes system implementation. After system implementation, you will have post implementation review and maintenance. Post implementation review and maintenance. Okay, so the preliminary investigation, system requirement analysis, system design, system acquisition, system development, system testing, system implementation and post implementation review. These are the 8 different steps which will be covered in the system development life cycle. So now we'll be seeing each step one by one, and sequentially we'll cover all the system development life cycle stages. Okay, so friends, now let us see the first two stages of the system development life cycle. The first one is preliminary investigation. Okay, preliminary investigation, we can call it as PI. Okay, short form. And second one is system requirement analysis. So those who are new to my channel, I request you to kindly subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so that you can receive the videos, and please kindly motivate me with a thumbs up. And if you like these videos, kindly share it with your friends who are preparing for the CA final old syllabus ISCA, so that they can revise it and they can perform well in their examinations. So now let us start seeing these two phases of the system development life cycle. So what does this preliminary investigation means? This preliminary investigation, the name itself says the starting form of research or inquiry into the development of the system. But how does this start? The preliminary investigation will start upon receiving a request for the development of system. Without having any request for development of a particular system, we won't do any, there's no need of doing an investigation, right? So first we need to get the request for development of a system for solving a particular problem. Then depending upon the request, we will start doing the preliminary investigation. What this preliminary investigation has totally 5 stages. First thing, identification of the problem. Then identification of the objective. Then we'll be having delineation of scope, feasibility study, and at last reporting the requirements to the management. So there will be 5 stages. So by doing this preliminary investigation, the engineer who is preparing this information system will get some benefits, will have some advantages. Why he is doing so? Because first thing, he will see if the problem what first he will try to understand what is the problem for which a solution must be developed. Okay, then he will get an understanding. He will determine if the current existing system can solve this problem with some modification. Means by doing some modification to the existing system, if the problem gets solved, then no need to do a new system, right? Then if so, what are the steps required to prepare the new system? For developing new system, what are the steps to be taken? What will be the approximate cost involved in development of the system? Then what will be the time frame required to development of the system? And finally, he will see whether this problem, whether the development of the system in this manner can be feasible for solving this problem. And also he will also see that the vendor who is providing this current technology to them, will that vendor can provide any support for solving this problem or for developing this new system. So the engineer will be getting these many benefits by doing preliminary investigation. Now let us see what are the 5 different steps involved in preliminary investigation. So friends, the preliminary investigation as said has five major activities. First thing, identification of the problem, identification of the objective, delineation of scope, feasibility study, and reporting the requirements to the management. So the first activity is identification of the problem. What will happen in the identification of the problem? The request has come for development of system, right? Because of the request only the investigation got started. So the users, the developers, and the top management will sit together and first they analyze the existing system. They analyze what the system is able to do, what it was not able to do, what is the problem, and is there any requirement of developing a system, or is the old system sufficient enough by with some modification can we solve the problem. In this stage the focus is not on showing how the new system will be. Nothing will be told about how the new system is going to operate or new system is going to be developed. What is focused in this stage, the entire focus upon the existing system and the collection of data and facts and required information for evaluating the project request. Depending upon the evaluation, if they see the project is feasible in all aspects, then the management and the user will decide, and the committee will take the informed decision for development of the project. Once they have decided to do the investigation, while doing the investigation, the engineer must focus on understanding and getting a clarity on the problem. Okay, and then he must determine what will be the time frame for development of the system, what may be the cost, and what are the technical and other feasibilities for development of system. Like do we have sufficient technical experts for developing system? That must be kept in mind while developing a plan, right? While doing investigation, you must in the background you must need to think if there is a possible feasibility or not, and then report the required findings to the management. So these 5 things must be taken care by the engineer. This will be covered in the identification of the problem thing. Then comes identification of the objective. Once we understand the problem, then finding a solution to the problem is the objective of the system, right? So once the objective is also clearly found out, we need to specify clearly what is the objective of doing system, what the system must achieve. So what is our goal for developing the system, that must be clearly mentioned. And then comes delineation of scope. This means the scope must be explained very clearly. Means the solution which they are trying to get from the new system must be clearly defined, and you must also specify what the system is going to provide the solution for and what it is not going to do. Okay, so and the system and the delineation of scope will be having certain dimensions. Means the solution for which the IT system is being developed must be clearly mentioned. It must not be ambiguous. Okay, so what are the different you can say for determining the scope, what all you need to keep in mind. First thing, we need to see the functional requirement, what the system is going to, how is going to function. Then you need to see the data to be processed, what kind of data the system will be taking into for getting the required solution. And then control requirements, what are checkpoints where we need to control the system. And then performance requirement, how the system must perform, what should be its response time and execution time. And then constraints, what are the fallback of the system, what is not going to do, it must be clearly mentioned. And then comes interface, any special requirement of hardware or software is required or not, or what kind of interface that this system needs so that it can combine with the other systems. And then you have reliability requirement. Reliability requirements means the ability to maintain the data even in the conditions of failure. Means suppose somebody has misused the system or has wrongly entered the system must be able to protect the data without getting encrypted, without getting corrupted. So this forms the delineation of scope. And then while doing this analysis of finding your scope area, the engineer again has to take care of few important aspects. What are they? Let us see them now. So friends, While defining the scope, the engineer need to take care of few certain aspects. First thing is that the person who is giving the request for development of system, he must understand his perspective, his views regarding the development of the new system. This person is called a sponsor or champion. Okay, so generally he will be a member of the top management, because the sponsor is someone who is being the member of top management is coming with a request for a system. The engineer even need to understand the profile of the people or working nature of the people who are below him. Means the request may be from the top management, but the actual user may be from the operating level. The way in which the strategic level people think and way in which the operating level people think will be quite different. So the engineer need to understand the working profile and requirement of both the people, and next he need to specify what are the benefits of by doing this by implementing new system. What are the benefits does the organization get? He need to explain the benefit part also, and he need to even see the impact of the system on the organization. If suppose the system has a wide impact, let us say ERP implementation, there can be a greater resistance from the people. So therefore he need to analyze even the impact of the solution on the organization, and also other factors like how the organization is going to implement it, and how the people are going to understand what are the different requirements must be taken care by the engineer, and then with the help of that he can get a brief idea of the scope. And scope can also be identified by using two primary methods. First thing is review of internal document, and then conducting interviews. By reviewing the organization chart, by reviewing how the system is being how the data moves in the organization, or how the controls are being handled, by seeing these documents he will get a brief idea of the existing system. And then by conducting interviews, like talking to the people who are using system, talking to the operating level people, so knowing their views regarding the positive and negative of system, what they expect out of system. So by conducting interview with these people, that the engineer or the analyst can easily understand and define the scope for development of the new system. Once the scope has been defined and you got the area with which the system must be developed, then we will see its feasibility study. Means how in various areas we need to see if a system is going to be fit or not. So what are the areas we will be studying in the feasibility study for? First thing is technical feasibility, financial feasibility, economic feasibility, schedule or time feasibility, operational feasibility, behavioral feasibility, and legal feasibility. In technical feasibility, we need to understand that the few points which need to be remembered for technical feasibility is that does required technology for developing the system exist or not? Can the system be developed with the existing technology itself, or should we need a new technology? Or does the system can be if we develop it, can it be expanded in future for the future requirements? Then can it provide responses in least possible time, irrespective of number of users and location of the user? And then does it guarantee accuracy or not? So these are few points which must be remembered for the technical feasibility. And then comes the financial feasibility. Financial feasibility involves the cost of developing the system, and then the returns the system can generate, or what is the possible economic financial impact that gain we are going to get by using this, by implementing this system. And then just and then comes the economic feasibility. Economic feasibility, so economic feasibility again somewhat is linked to the financial thing only, but we see what are the benefits or cost economically, how much is the system feasible for the organization. If nothing has been done, what will be the cost faced by the organization, and if we do the system, what impact will it face? And then time feasibility, that do we have sufficient time to develop the system, or how much duration of time or the system will take to develop. And then comes operational feasibility, does it get interacted, does the system in new system interact well with the existing modules of any other part of the system? And then is the operational behavior easy to use for the by the people? Can system be easily used? And then behavior problem, does it create any impact on the human resources or the people working there? And then come legal feasibility, does developing such kind of system, is it legally permissible or not? So we are going to we need to see the feasibility aspect in these areas before we start for development of system. And the final step in preliminary investigation is reporting result to the management. Once the analyst conducts all the investigation from defining the scope, understanding the requirement, and then seeing the feasibility, he will prepare a report with a short covering letter showing the intent of the intent for development of the system, and then what are the benefits, what are the cost involved, what is the time involved, everything, and what are the various kinds of alternatives available for the development of the system or alternatives for solving this problem. So he will document everything and then give a report to the management. Based upon this report, the management will then take a decision regarding to proceed to the development of the system or not. And suppose if this if any alternative gets a negative remarks, it must not be continued, and those which are having good possibility or good chances of developing only must be continued. So there, this report will help the management in taking an informed decision. So this 5 stages: identification of the problem, identification of objective, delineation of scope, feasibility study, and reporting result to the management, covers the first phase of system development life cycle, that is preliminary investigation. Next, let us now see the second phase of SDLC, that is system requirement analysis. So friends, I hope you are enjoying this session, and till now we have completed the preliminary investigation of system development life cycle, and next we will be seeing in the next video, upcoming video, regarding system requirement analysis, because system requirement analysis is a big topic in itself and has lot of subtopics in it. I have decided to do it in the next video. So till then, kindly revise this today's topic by studying the required questions in the practice manual, and kindly share the video to all your friends so that they also get good revision of ISCA and they can prepare well. So till the next video, take care and be positive.